I'm going to read it. I'm going to read her DM. You can follow along on the screen. I saw your video about all the great things Drake has done and wanted to share my own experience with him. First off, thanks for your content. I love how you come with facts. So when I was 21, both my parents died in a car accident. I was in my junior year in college at the time and let my grades slip and lost my scholarship. I was about to be kicked out of school, so I started working at a Houston strip club. My first night there, I was so nervous and had no clue what I was doing. Drake walked in and all the other strippers knew my story, so they pumped me up to go over to his section. He was the first customer I approached that night, and I was scared to death. The other girls told me what he likes, so I finally worked up the courage to go over. I'm sure I looked awkward and weird. I mean, I was so green before that night. I had never even worn a thong. I asked him if he wanted a lap dance, and he was like, okay. I started dancing, and within 10 seconds, he stopped me. He said, is this your first night? I was like, yeah. He asked me why I was there, and I told him about my parents and school and said I was about to get kicked out. He asked me how much my tuition was, and I couldn't remember the exact amount I owed, so I just said $20,000. He handed me $80,000 and told me to leave and never come back. He was like, go finish school. I mean it. Don't ever come back here. Then he said he was going to tell the owner to never hire me back if I tried to return, so I better get good grades and never come back.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Look, there's a lot of different ways we can man this out, and I think that this is a conversation that we need to have on Room 9. But the first thing that I'm going to say is, this is why women endear themselves to Drake. Now, it's a lot of guys that's going to be on here saying that simping or whatever, so on and so forth. I think that simping is looking for attention, is spending money to look for attention from women that otherwise you probably would have never gotten the attention for in the first place. Or pedestalizing women unnecessarily in order to get kudos from. I don't see this situation as that, right? And I know it's a lot of people that's going to be like, oh man, you know what? You just like Drake or whatever. I do think that he's the greatest rapper of all time. However, when we actually start to mine out this conversation and we look at it objectively, which most people are unable to look at anything objectively, meaning they are able to remove their bias so that they can have a more meaningful conversation about what the impact is of what these conversations are, then we have to start really being honest, right? Now, first thing you could say is, well, she never should have been in a strip club in the first place. Agreed. Goes without saying, but it's the past. It is what it is, right? We know that women, when they start to get down on their luck, they hit the streets. You know what I'm saying? They hit the strip clubs. They may hit OF. What they'll do whatever they can to try to make some money. They'll talk to a guy, whatever. And so, you know, we've heard this story a lot of times. Women are in the club in order to go to school or put themselves in school. A lot of times it's nursing school or trying to become a lawyer or trying to become whatever it is that they're trying to do. And so they feel like this is their only way out. Now, if this is true and this girl out because both of her parents died, I think that we can start to give this one a pass and give it a caveat. And sometimes we act like we ain't never did nothing in our lives. We act like we don't have a past. We act like, you know, that there's nothing that you can come back from. I don't think that the story is about, you know, who she was, but it was really just to seek, you know, highlight the praises of somebody that may not necessarily always talk about or tell, you know, what they do for other people. And people, you know, they already feeling some type of way about the fact that, oh man, if you say you did something for somebody else and it wasn't from a genuine place. If he looked out for her and he gave her 80,000, she said 20, he gave her 80 and said, don't come back here, and then told the club owner, if you ever hire her again, or something like that, I'm never coming back. I think that that's dope. I think that that is incredible and it's absolutely dope. Hopefully, because I'm reacting to this in real time, hopefully she never came back and she actually made something of herself but I'm assuming that's the reason why she wrote in. So let's hear the rest of the story.
Me to go get my stuff, hide my money, and that he would have security walk me to my car. I ran to the dressing room, grabbed my stuff, barely got dressed, and ran to the door where one of Drake's security guards was waiting for me. He walked me to my car, and I never returned to that strip club. I'm now a lawyer, and I work for a small firm in Dallas. I even went to a strip club in Miami and gave a newbie $10,000 in an effort to pay it forward.
That's dope. That's incredibly dope, is to not forget where you was and where you came from and to try to add value into somebody else's life. Now, obviously, that don't necessarily mean that the newbie is going to take that and try to do anything meaningful with it, but you made the effort. You can't really control what people do after you give them the money. Even her, right? He could have gave her the 80K and she could have went off and bought her a Chanel bag, or, you know what I'm saying, and did a bunch of other stuff and then found herself back in a different club, maybe even in a different city or something like that. But the reality is that she says she became a lawyer, and so, you know, this is a good story. It's a feel-good story of somebody that actually did something meaningful with their life. Again, this is one of the reasons why women endear themselves to him, because he seems to be passionate about people in addition to being passionate about women, obviously.
It was all I had, but she was able to run out of the club just like me. That's why I'll never turn on Drake. He saved my life. Anyway, I just wanted to share that story. Thanks for the content. So I responded back to her. I said, "Oh, wow, what an amazing story. Let me first say how happy I am that you were able to steer your life in the right direction. God is so good. I know the other strippers were mad as hell you got the $80,000 like that. Good for you. Did you ever try reaching out to him later to let him know your success story?" She responded and said, "No, I didn't. Maybe I will." The other girls were so happy for me, actually. They threw my stuff in my bag for me and were smiling and pushing me out the door. I remember crying so hard as I drove home. God is good. It was exactly what I needed at that moment. Then I responded and I said, "That's so sweet. Do you mind if I share this story? I would love to make a post about this. I, of course, won't do that without your permission. If you're cool with it, I don't have to show your profile info unless you're okay with that too." And then she responded back basically saying that it was okay to share this story, not to share her profile information because she works with very conservative people. Understandable. Then she said, "I think it'll be great for fans to hear positive stories about Drake, especially with the stuff they are trying to say about him." I said, "Oh, of course, I understand that." Then I said, "I agree. The way they are accusing him with no evidence blows my mind. I can tell by your profile pic that you're his type. So if he was really the person they claim he is, he would have definitely tried you, wanted you." I said wanted you, but tried you is what I was thinking. She responded by saying, laugh out loud, "Yeah, that's why the other girls kept urging me to go over. They were like, 'You're his type, girl.'" And so, yeah, so I just love hearing stories like that, positive stories. There were a couple people who responded in the comments on my video that I posted yesterday about all the great things that Drake has done, his charitable acts. Some of y'all said that
I'm going to have to go to her video. Because y'all sent me this video, but I'm going to have to go to her video so I can see what her story is, if she got a story, or if she's just reading stories from other people. But I need to go to her video and see what she's talking about.
Drake gave money or something to your mom or to you or something like that. I can't find the comments now, and I forgot to screenshot them at the time. If you see this video again, or if anyone out there is watching this and you can find those comments, please send them to me. I would like to hear those stories as well on how and why he gave them money. Yeah, we have us a generous poppy, y'all. I'm telling you, we love a generous poppy. He's a good man. He is. Anywho, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has been liking, sharing.
I can't speak to anybody's character, but if people are telling stories and saying how he's a very helpful and generous person, I know that during the rollout of his Iceman album that he's actually gifted people whole cars. I remember the streamer or the content creator that actually found the release date of Iceman through all of the ice packs over in Toronto, that I think that he had gifted them $50,000 also. And so I think it's always good to give back and be charitable and to be helpful when you're moving in an abundance. And that it's not always about just clout. It's sometimes always about helping other people, and I think that that's meaningful. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make